This conference will now be recorded.
Let's talk about reports in SAP FICO for day-to-day usage. On a regular day-to-day operations, what kind of reports we will be using or your client will be using on SAP FICO. And this is very important for you to know to understand the overall business process of any organization, because everybody will depend on reports at the end of the day. Now, let me log into the system. Okay. So when we talk about data flow in SAP, we have three elements. First one is your business requirement. Second one is your configuration. Third one, master data. Fourth one, transaction data. Last one is your reports. Now, this is your basic data flow in SAP. If you take with respect to FICO alone, this is what we normally do. First, you will get the business requirement. Based on the business requirement, you will do the configuration. Based on configuration, you will create master records, and based on the master records, you are going to create transactions. For the transactions that you have created and for the master records that you have created, you will generate different reports to see the data. Now, specifically, let us try to understand what exactly we do in reporting. Do we have all the reports in standard SAP that will meet your business requirement? If not, what we are going to do? Now, your reports are basically applicable for your master data and transaction data. This is where you need reports. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
For your master data, you need reports. For your transaction data, you need reports. What kind of reports do we have for master data? First of all, when we talk about reports, you have two types of reports. Okay, you have two types of reports. One is standard report. Second one is custom reports. Custom reports is nothing but customized report. Okay, so this is also called as Z reports or Z reports. Clear? So whenever a report comes into your mind, you have to be very clear that there are two type of reports. One is standard, the other one is custom or Z report. Now, standard report is SAP delivered reports ready to be used. Okay. All your standard reports are SAP delivered reports which are ready to be used, which means you do not have to do anything for it. This is like plug and play. You can access the report transaction, execute. If you have the data on your system for your company code, it will display. If not, it will not display the data. When it comes to custom reports, okay, when it comes to custom report or Z report, these are not SAP delivered reports. These are consultant developed reports. Okay, so consultant developed reports based on client business requirement. Clear? Your custom reports are not SAP standard. These are customized reports developed by the consultants based on the business requirement or your client requirement. Every client, every project, every organization will have customized reports because not all the standard reports will meet the business requirement. To meet their business requirement, they will definitely have to go for custom reports. Now, if somebody is asking you, did you work on any custom reports or Z reports? Your answer should always be yes. Okay, you should never say, no, I'm not aware of custom reports. I have not worked on Z reports. Because if you work on any project, this is mandatory object. Okay, this is mandatory if you worked on any SAP FICO project. Clear? Now, first, what we are doing in our data flow. In your data flow, your first object is master data. What kind of master data are we creating? When we talk about master data, what all master records are we creating?
GL master records.
GL master. Next,
Vendor.
vendor. Okay,
Customer.
customer,
Profit, profit center, cost center.
profit center, cost center. Okay,
Document splitting.
document splitting is configuration. So when we talk about master data, we are very specifically talking about end user data. This is the data which is created by end user or which is used by end user. So which does not include your configuration. What else? And knowing master data from SAP FI, from SAP CO is very important for any FICO consultant. If you have been asked to tell what master records do we have in SAP FI, and if you are stuck only after 5, then gone. Do we have only 5 type of master records in SAP FI? FICO?
Cost element and internal order.
Cost elements, internal orders. Next, you have bank master,
Asset masters,
assets, correct?
activity type,
Activity type,
statist, statistical key figure,
statistical key figure. Okay,
withholding tax,
tax codes in short. Next, what are the other masters that we create? And whenever you're stuck like this, you're unable to figure out what other master data, what other master records we have, do not go to Google. Never do it. Do not depend on Google from now on. Start exploring the system. See if you are able to figure out on your own from the system. Because this is there on the SAP system itself. Yes, no. Where do you have all this? Do you have all this in Google, YouTube, or in SAP?
SAP itself.
These are all there in SAP itself. Then you must be in a position to find out, trace where they are in SAP. As a consultant, it is your mandatory job to find out where is each master record. How do you find out? In short, path or node for everything you must be aware of. If you are not aware, you should at least know the way to find it out. But do not Google directly to look for the transaction code and then open the transaction code. That is wrong way of working. Okay, so now you know this is all end user area. End user area is part of easy access or IMG SPRO.
Easy access.
It is all about your
Yes.
easy access. The moment you log into SAP, you will get SAP easy access by default. And as a FICO consultant, whatever you do, you are responsible only for accounting node. These are all called as nodes, NODE node. Okay, so accounting node, right? You're responsible only for the accounting node. Anything other than accounting, you are not responsible for. You will have the dedicated consultants related to the other modules. Open accounting. If you open the accounting, you have different modules within accounting. Now, within these different modules, you are again responsible only for selected modules. One is your financial accounting, which is your SAP FI. The other one is controlling, which is your SAP CO. In short, if you are representing as FICO consultant, you are responsible for financial accounting, you are responsible for controlling. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Other nodes are either add-ons to your FICO module or it's a different module altogether. Okay, FICO consultant with the additional skill set, or with that skill set there is a different consultant. For example, if you take PS, project systems is a different module in SAP. You have dedicated PS consultants. Okay, you have dedicated PS consultants in the market. Similarly, JVA, joint venture accounting, you will have FICO consultant with joint venture specialization. Similarly, you have investment management. So basically, investment management and project system are called together. So we call it as IMPS. Most of them call this as IMPS consultant, which means investment management and project system related consultants, because both work similar for your projects, long-term investments. In short, CapEx, capital projects. So be very clear that you are responsible only for financial accounting, controlling. This financial supply chain management is related to treasury. You must have heard something called a TRM. TRM you must have heard, right? So your FSCM talks about treasury. Now let's open financial accounting. Inside the financial accounting, you have different modules. These are all sub modules within your financial accounting or within your accounting or FI. If you open general ledger, you will find straight away master records. There is a separate node for master record. Yes, no? Open this general ledger master record. Inside the general ledger, there are only two type of master records. One is GL account, okay, and the other one is profit center. Did we write both GL and profit center? GL is written here, profit center is also written here. So GL is clear, this is covered. Accounts receivable. If you go to accounts receivable, within this accounts receivable also you have master records. If you open, you are finding FD01, FD02. This is all customer master. right? You have bank. This is your bank master. We have written something here, bank master. Bank master is covered. Your customer is also covered. Now, if I go back to accounts payable, master record, here also same thing. Vendor master and then bank master. Bank is already there, vendor is also there. Accounts payable also, it is covered. Bank. In bank, if you go to master data, you have bank master, this is already covered. And this is your account ID creation. Let's put house bank account IDs. These are your house bank account IDs. Bank chain, these are not needed. Repetitive codes also not needed as of now. Fixed assets, if you go to fixed asset, create, you have asset. Special, these are not needed. So from FI set, we've covered everything. And let's go to controlling. If you go to controlling, you have cost elements, master data, cost element, you have cost element groups, you have. We have cost elements. Let's insert cost element groups. Next. Cost center, you have cost center, you have cost center group, activity type group, statistical key figure group. So cost center will put cost center group, and activity type groups, statistical key figure and statistical key figure groups. That's all from this. And internal order, you have internal orders, you have internal order group as well. Internal order group. Next, activity based costing. In this, we do not need anything. Product cost, here also we don't need anything. As of now, these are not relevant. Ignore this. So basically, these are all your mastered records that we are creating. We have listed around 19 master records. Tomorrow, if somebody is asking you what kind of master data or master records do we have in SAP FI? Okay, common questions in any interview. Casually, they will ask what kind of master data do we create? Or what master records did you create in your project? Now, master data is part of your cutover activity. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Master data is part of your cutover activity. And if you say that you were part of cutover activity, you were part of cutover activity or you involved in cutover activity, you will be asked what kind of master records you have created. Then you will have to talk about all these master records. You have to go in a flow. You've created GL, vendor, customer, profit center, cost center. Likewise, explain all this list in a flow so that the other person realizes you are aware of it. Otherwise, what we will do, we will end up explaining 4 5 master records, then we will take a huge break. So we will start thinking what are the other master records we have in SAP FI. So that should not be the case, right? Now, if you have these many master records, how a user will come to know what GL accounts are there? Normally, to create a GL account, you have a different screen. What is the T code for creating a GL account?
It's
FS
double zero.
double zero. FS double zero, FSP 0, FSS 0.
Let's go with central GL creation FS00. Right, this is where you are going to create a master record. But if I want to see the GL accounts, is this the same place that I tell the client or to the user? No, right? Because here you have option to create, to change, to delete also. And if I want to display, I have to display one by one. Can I display all the accounts in one go from this screen?
Yes, sir.
There's no option to display all the accounts in one go from this screen, because this is not a report related screen. This is a master data creation and master data single display screen. Either I can create one account or I can display one account. I can change one account. It's all about one account. But when you're talking about report, you're talking about multiple accounts to be displayed on a single screen wherein you can download the data. Is that right? I should have a provision to download the data from a report. That is what the whole idea of any report is. It any report that I view, I need to have the access to download it. Now let's see what kind of reports are there. Be very clear, FS00 is not a GL report. If somebody is asking you how do you display all your GL accounts, never tell FS00. This is not a report. This is the screen to create, to change the account masters. To display, you have. Now to do that, go to financial accounting. GL account is part of general ledger. Open general ledger, and any report that you want to see, you have to go to not reporting but information system. So this is a slight confusing in SAP. Any report that you want to check, you should go to information system, not reporting. Clear? Be very clear. You are supposed to access information system to view any reports on the SAP. Access information system. You will have general ledger reports. In this, you have financial statement, cash flow, account balances, report for profit center, report for segment, line items, document, master data. What kind of report are we looking for now?
Master data.
We are trying to look master data. Open this master data. If you open this master data, you will find all S underscore ALR reports. These are all normally called as ALR reports. Okay, so this S underscore ALR, whatever you get, these are all standard SAP reports. Okay, now if you open this chart of account, let me double click on this. It says function is not available, which means this report has been removed from S4HANA. So click on exit. Next one, account assignment manual. Double click on this. This is also not available. Display changes to GL account, we do not want. Now you have something called GL account list. Open this GL account list. If you click on GL account list, it is giving you a screen wherein it talks about GL accounts list. It is asking for your chart of account, company code, and GL account. On any criteria, you can execute the report. Let's run this report for our company code, AJ10. And if I click on execute, let's see what comes. Now you are able to see a report. All the GL accounts are being shown on your screen. Chart of account, GL account number, company code, GL description. Right? So like this, you have to view the reports, and like this, you have to show the reports to your client. You may be asked by your client, your user, how do I see all the GL accounts? Because while posting the transaction, let's say while posting a transaction, your user wants to know the GL account for a particular master. Let's say he wants to know the GL account for rent. So every time they do not want to come to this and open the list and then find out, look, what is the GL account for rent. Now you're getting only 22 records, but when you're in a project, you will have more than 500 records. Difficult to find out GL account number every time they post an entry. Agree? Every time they post an entry, they have to come to this screen, find out which is the account number. So instead, they will ask for a report wherein they can access like this. Okay. And from here, they can find something called rent. It will show rent accounts like this. This is easy, or this is easy. Which one is easy? Opening the drop down while posting a transaction is easy, or directly opening GL master report is easy. Which one is more easy for your user? Direct posting from FS00 or report for GL master?
Here also we
Okay.
get almost, sir.
Here also you get, but every time you'll have to open this, right? Now you're wasting some time here. But if you have report like this, what I can do, I can simply download this into Excel sheet, and I can do a control F or find out the GL account number from my Excel sheet. So which is very easy for me. Or I want to suggest a GL account for a user. I want to propose an entry that pass this entry to this account, but user will ask me which account number should I use. At that time, if I do not have access to master record, it is difficult for me. So you should have access to these kind of reports. Now, whenever you're talking about any report, you are talking about a particular transaction. Am I correct? Every report is part of a T code like this. In this case, this is your transaction. Now, any transaction that you want to access, open in a project, you need authorization. What do you need? You need
Authorization.
authorization. To get the authorization, you need to have a role. Okay, you need authorization, and authorization is based on the role. Clear? So as a FICO consultant, you must know if your user is talking about this report, GL account list. This GL account list is part of which authorization object, and it is part of which role. Right? So if a user is there who is not currently having access to this, and now he is requesting you to give the access for it, he has sent you the all the relevant approvals from his manager and whatsoever. Now it is your turn to provide the access to that report to the user. Just like that, you cannot give the access to it, right? You have to find out which role I have to assign to the user to give the access to this. That is again your responsibility, your work as a consultant. So you have to be familiar with roles and authorizations. How do I find out which role is used for this kind of reports? Now, when you assign that role, your user will be able to access that report. Okay. Now, this is all about your GL report. You have one report for GL accounts. Similarly, this is your profit center master data. Controlling area AJ00. You execute. This is giving all the profit centers that are created, right? Now, let's note down these transaction codes here. For profit center, this is the T code. For GL account, this is the T code. Clear? Now try to remember these transaction codes wherever possible. Now, next one, vendor. This is all about your GL reports. Now, if we go to accounts receivable, where should I go for reports? Under reporting or under information system?
Information system.
Information.
Information system. Inside the information system, reports for accounts receivable accounting. In this, which report are we talking about? Transaction or master data?
Master data.
Master data. Open master data. If you open master data, you have different reports like this. If I open this customer list and if I pass company code AJ10, and if you want any other criteria, you can take this. I'm not taking anything as of now. Let's execute. No list generated. Okay. Do we have customer master in our company code?
No, sir.
We do not have any customer master so far in this company code. Okay, so this is your report for customer master. This is your customer list. And like this, you will have different reports. If you want to know the address of each customer, this is the report to be used. If you want to find out the changes to the customer account, if there are any changes made, let's say address is updated, reconciliation account is updated, or name is amended, bank details are changed. If you want to see all the changes which are made to a particular customer account, this report is what you have to view. Okay, if you want to display critical customer changes like any key fields, so you can define what are the critical fields for a particular customer account master. Such report you can view from here. And if you want to compare the customer master data, this is the report. So when you get some time, open each report and then execute, see what data is coming and how you have to read that data. Okay, it's very important for you to understand the report outputs. What is this report and what data is coming from this? What data I am giving as my key input. There's a lot of queries you will get from your day-to-day business from your client users. I want to see this information. Where do I get this data? Not every time you will download the data and share it with your business. Instead, you have to train them how to use it so that going forward, they will be able to do their data analysis on their own. Clear? This is about your accounts receivable. If you go to accounts payable, information system, reports for accounts payable, master data, same thing here. There you have customer list, here vendor list. Open vendor list, give company code, execute. You are getting data like this. Your vendor code, right? Search term, the person who created this, when this was created, in which language, your company name, address. Like this, you get the whole data of your customers. Go back. And if you want to add any specific data, you have to tick this. So this related information will also be displayed. Go back. Address. If you put any specific vendor account, if you execute, that vendor address will get displayed here. Go back. Changes, and these are your payment transaction. You have check register, cash to checks, check lots, payment list. So these reports also you can verify. Okay, when you see these kind of reports, you will start understanding, you will start getting to know different things. Okay, unless you see all these kind of things, you are limited to the standard things that is there on your mind for accounts payable or receivable or any topic for that matter. You are limited to creating a master data, posting a document, seeing a report in a standard thing. But when you're in a project, when you're in a real environment, it's beyond that. It is beyond that means you will have to use different things, right? I'll now come out of this. Banks. In the bank also, if I go to information, so I have something called cash book, cash journal reports. This is not master data. Not this one. Not this payment advices. Not bill of exchange. So in bank, we do not have your master data related reports. Cashed checks per bank book, no. Display bank directory, display changes. If you look at this bank country, India, execute. This is how you get bank directory. Okay, these are all your bank accounts. Your bank country, bank key, bank name, your bank street, SWIFT code, all this information. Go back.
Account number will not come, sir.
We go to layout,
Okay.
it will be there. Line 2. Account length. Let's check if you have account number here. It's already there, I think. Small thing. India, execute. You have account number here, bank number.
Okay.
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 Go back. These are about your basic FI related masters. For asset, you have again information system, reports. We do not have specific to master data. Individual asset, asset list, balances, not least asset, physical inventory. balances. Let's check this asset history sheet. So here you will get all the assets with the history when the asset was purchased. So this report will give you the overall asset picture, asset acquisition, asset retirement, asset scrapping, all this information transfers, everything will come in your asset history sheet. Go back. So now we do not have any report which specifically gives only master data alone. All these reports will give you the asset list. Let's see. We don't have any asset. Any company code where we have assets?
HM10 or GM10.
So this is fiscal year change not yet made for the company code HM10. These are standard errors which occur during your year end in any project. Okay, you have not yet carried out a fiscal year change for company code HM10, although your current system date is in the new fiscal year. What SAP will do or what system will do, it will try to read the current date of the report. What is the current date? 4th of March.
Yes, sir.
4th of March is part of fiscal year 2023. Now, if you see 4th of March is part of fiscal year 2023, you are now trying to run the report, but system will expect as on today whether your current fiscal year for assets is 2023 or not. Currently, it is not. To see which year is the currently opened in fixed asset, you have to open FAA underscore CMP.
CMP.
Open this. And this is a new transaction code in SAP S4HANA. And go to leading ledger. If you see, the current fiscal year is 2022. Current fiscal year is 2022. And you are trying to run the report on this. So let me change this date to 2022. Let me run this. Still, this is not giving. Now, one point you'll have to remember here is for every time in an asset accounting, you can keep 2 fiscal years open. System will allow you to open how many fiscal years at a time? 2 fiscal years, which is always current year and previous year. Now, what is the current year?
23.
But on SAP, on the system, what is the highest fiscal year? 2022. So now, as per the system, the current fiscal year is 2023, but in system it is updated as 2022 only. Unless you perform this change, it will not allow you to record any transaction in asset accounting. It will not allow you to run any report for the current year. For this, you have to be aware of fiscal year change, year-end activities in SAP S4HANA specifically, because in your ECC, your asset account fiscal year change is independent or separate from your main FI year-end activity. In short, GL data carry forward, asset data carry forward are two different in ECC, but in S4HANA, these two are together. So you have to do balance carry forward of data from GL. How do you balance carry forward?
FAGL GVTR.
FAGL GVTR. You open this FAGL GVTR, this will transfer your asset related balances also. But the same transaction on your ECC will not transfer asset related balances. For asset, You have AJAB, you have AJRW from ECC system. Okay, this is again one of your interview topic point, especially current scenario, because now you have just crossed year end for most of the countries,
Yes, sir.
right? We've just closed a fiscal year in most of the companies. In fact, every company would have crossed their year end activity, because every company will ideally use at least one of their fiscal year as Jan to December. So December is just passed. Now you would have got these kind of errors from many reports related to asset. What you will do, or what was your activity as part of year end activity, they will ask you. You must be in a position to explain them. How do you change this from 2022 to 2023? So you have to run that balance carry forward first, then you have to close this. Here closed year should be 2022 and highest fiscal year should be 2023. Only then in 2023 asset transaction is allowed. Otherwise, it will not allow you to record any entry in fiscal year 2023. So these are all dependent points that you have to understand. Okay. Now we'll talk about this year-end activities and all in a separate session. Now from the CO side, you have cost elements, internal orders, cost centers. To see any data related to cost center, where to go?
Accounting,
Accounting. Cost
controlling,
center is part of
controlling module,
controlling. Open controlling, open cost element. You have information system. It is the same logic across the SAP. Irrespective of your module, any report you want to see, open that particular module related node, go to information system, reports, overview, master data indexes, cost element master data. Click on this, just execute. If you have any cost elements created, it will display. Currently, we have not given any cost element. It is not giving you the data. Right? If you want to change this, you have to go to extras, set controlling area, change your controlling area, and then when you run, you will get the list of cost elements created. Okay. And here you also have the report for cost centers, AS13. If I click execute, let me put star. It is not taking, or I'll simply put all cost centers. No cost center exists for the selection criteria maintained. Let's check. Inside the company code is set as this. This is wrong. AJ10. Now all cost centers. We have not created cost.
we have created, sir. Now if you type it, come it as cost center name.
We have not created, is it?
We have created, sir.
Why it is not showing? No, there is no data.
Give the cost center name, sir. Again.
Profit centers we have created. We have not yet done cost
No.
center accounting.
Okay. Okay.
We have not created it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go back. And then this is your internal order. I'll go with standard variant. Okay. So meanwhile, let's see this. So clear, these are all your master records,
Yes, sir.
right? Now, first point that you'll have to do here is remember this list as it is. What is there on the system and all is secondary. Nobody is going to check whether you know the transaction code, whether you know what is this and all, but people will expect at least you are aware of this master record list. Okay, so these are supposed to be in your mind at any given point of time. Out of this 19, make sure at least 15 you are able to answer. Exclude this commitment items, but tax codes, every other thing must be spoken by you. Anybody asking you about master records, what kind of master data do we create in SAP FICO? And you have to go in a flow because this is part of your cutover activity and you are going to explain that you were part of a project, correct? Huh? And when you say that you are part of a project, you worked on an SAP FICO, this is a mandatory list that you have to speak. Nobody will ask how do you create customer, nobody will ask how do you create cost center, nobody will ask how do you create bank account, how do you create asset master, nobody will ask that. But everybody will ask you the list of the master records that we create in SAP. So remember this list. Clear? Any doubt so far? But these things is something that you have to do a little system explore. You have to explore the system a little, only then you will understand these things practically. These are not the things that you will get to know theoretically when somebody explains you. Because we are not talking about configuration, we are not talking about T code system generated content. We are talking all this without doing anything on the system. We have seen all this, but did we create anything on the system currently? Did we create anything now? Yes, no.
No, sir.
We have not created anything, but still we were able to know that there are different master records in system. This is what people want from you in your interview. Nobody cares whether you really worked on this during your practice or not. Nobody wants that. Everybody is focused on whether you are aware of these things or not. Okay, so try to make sure that you are aware of this master data list. Make a note somewhere, maybe on your notebook or on your Excel sheet which you are maintaining for your practice. Read through this in such a way these are registered in your mind, because a lot of errors that you get, one of the reasons for your errors is missing master record. Okay, one of the reason for your errors could be master data missing, because most of the times we will ignore the master data. Even when we are in a project, we will ignore it. So I will show where and all we will ignore this, why we will ignore this, that I'll show practically on the system. Clear? Any doubt so far? No?
No, sir.